I gotta scroll back up. Hey, Robert, how are you? Robert Booth is here. Hello.
Hey.
Let's see. How do we submit music? If you're a member of Learning to Mix, you email me just an MP3 of kind of just a rough. You don't even have to mix it. Just kind of throw the faders up and get a balance. Give me an idea of the song. Send an MP3 to submissions@learningtomix.com. And then I'll listen to it. Pete will listen to it. If we think it's something that will fit in with what we're trying to do, we'll ask you to send us the stems. If you need help doing that, or you're not sure how to prepare the session or whatever, I can help you through that. Pretty simple. And so, yeah, if you have something you want us, the community to mix, please send it. We're going to try to do everybody's that sends stuff. Andy says he's got some whoops, I missed Andy's here. Contemporary Christian that we can use. Yeah, sure. Send that too. We haven't done a track like that either. We're really trying to be as diverse as we possibly can be. Because I just think that's the best way to get training.
I'll have to dig into one of my Klezmer records.
James says he blew up both knees right after he got a new board and a stage box. So I'm going through withdrawal, not being able to play with it. Not counting the fact that I actually get a wheelchair under my desk. That stinks, James.
Yeah, James, I really feel sorry. I really feel for you there, mate, because when I was 17, I did exactly the same. I blew out both my knees playing cricket, and it was a real bummer because on that particular occasion, I had England national selectors at the game watching, and I was aiming to impress so I could get hopefully selected for the national youth side. But I blew out both my knees bowling, and that was the end of my career. So I really do feel for you. And yes, it took me about 18 months of recovery. But yeah, I played cricket until about 8 years ago, and then my knees just couldn't handle it anymore. So
you're getting old.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
You see, I have the problem, Dave, is I love sport and I'm very competitive. And, having played rugby and cricket and baseball a lot through my life, so I've been involved in very physical sports.
Yeah.
And, the knees just don't handle it anymore. But, my competitive edge and spirit is still there. So I'm trying to find a sport that's not going to put any load on my knees whatsoever. I'm on a list to have my knees x-rayed.
Mm-hmm.
So we look at what's going on and see if I need to have surgery to replace these, which would be no fun.
no fun.
I really do feel for you, buddy, and it's very cool that you
better.
can get your wheelchair under your desk. That's very cool.
Yeah, at least you could do some recording, or you can sit and watch us.
Yes.
Let's see. Arkham General. Mastering Made Easy Volume 2? ? Oh, you're asking if there's going to be a Mastering Made Easy Volume 2. Yes, there will be in 2018. Yours truly and my good buddy here, Johnny, actually talked about doing it together. And we have some ideas. So yeah, there's going to be a refresh on Mastering Made Easy. There's going to be a refresh on EQ Made Easy in 2018, and probably Compression Made Easy as well. Because those three titles are all done in Studio 125, and some of them I think are in 2.0. I want to bring them up to version 3, and I want to make them better anyway. Those are the older ones that I've done, and so I think the newer titles that I've done are better as far as an instruction perspective, and for you guys getting the most out of them. And so, yeah, all those three in 2018 are going to be refreshed and brought up to today's standards. So, yes, Mastering Made Easy will come. And we'll leave I'll leave Mastering Made Easy Volume 1 probably, or we'll leave it around. We'll keep it up as a title if someone wants to buy it. But the second one's going to be a lot better. So we're going to help.
That's going to be cool. Andy asks me,
how
do I feel about the new female Doctor Who? Good question. I don't have a problem with it at all, mostly because the character... Doctor Who, basically when he regenerates, he inherits a body of some kind. So it could be male, it could be female. I think the character is meant to be asexual. So it doesn't really bother me too much whether the character is male or female. So there you go.
There you go. Andy says, I just got a Roland drum set. Any idea how to connect it and use it with your Slate SSD4? Oh, the Roland, like the V drums?
Yes.
Yeah, you can. There is a way to do it. I had a Roland V drum kit here until about 1.5 years ago. And that's the one thing we did not do, but there is a way. There is a way out of the module, and then there's something in the brain of the module to switch it over. There's some setting in there that allows you to use it along with Studio One, and you put SSD on as like an insert on an instrument track, and then you could go ahead and you can trigger. You can absolutely do it.
Johnny Gibe is the guy to go to.
Johnny Gibe's the guy to go to. Well, there you go. That's all you guys. All you guys say. He knows that stuff. But there is a way to do it because I've seen it done. And so yeah, Roland drum kits are pretty good. It's the only electronic drum kit I've ever played that I went, wow, this is nice.
They are very nice.
But they're also very, very expensive.
Have you seen the new one that they launched last year?
The TD50 or something?
Yeah, the TD50.
No, I had the TD30, and that was crazy. I mean, that was just.
I played a set of TD50s for a gig. Actually, they weren't mine. They were there at the venue. I was depping for another drummer, and I was just like, my drums are in cases, haven't been out of their cases for 18 months because I don't really get drumming gigs very much anymore. And this guy said, "Don't worry, it's all fine. We have a drum set there at the venue." I said, "Oh, great, fine." So I said, "So I'll just bring my cymbals and my sticks." And he goes, "Don't even worry about the cymbals."
Wow.
Just my stick bag then. So I'll get to the gig on the bus then. First time I've ever been to a drumming gig on a bus.
How did you like the feel of the V drums? Being a drummer.
They rebound like hell.
Well, it depends on which ones you use, though, right? It depends on which heads you use. I know there's different models and there's different price points, and the ones that I used at the time were part of the TD30, like their flagship kit. I mean, it was like a $6,000 drum kit. It wasn't mine, but it was like a $6,000 or $7,000 setup. I mean, it was like crazy. And I'll tell you, when you loosen, because you can loosen the lugs so they don't rebound so much.
Yeah, well, that's what I ended up doing because it's just it's just like you drop the stick and it goes. Pachoo! It's just like, whoa. Okay.
Yeah, that didn't happen on this. We must have set it up so it didn't happen that way. And then we just tuned the drums in the module, and it. I mean, I'm not a drummer, but I can play drums, and it's felt pretty damn good to me. I mean, considering what the electronic drum kits were 10 years ago.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Right? They sounded really fake, and I mean, I guess it's a lot like the plugins, right? Like Superior Drummer and Easy Drummer. I mean, 10, 12 years ago, it sounded like software drums today.
Well, the TD50 is incredible because I think they must have done some kind of deal with Yamaha to get samples of their recording custom drum set, and the Phoenix drum set is there as default, which is it's a beautiful drum set. I've seen Dave Weckl play his Phoenix drum set, and it just sounds incredible. Wow. But so I sat down and I played this TD50 set, and it was just like playing a Yamaha stage custom drum set. It was just fantastic. The cymbal pads, I remember from the last time I played, which is probably about 10 years or so, on an electric drum set. And you kind of hit the ride cymbal pad and your stick just buries in it.
Yeah.
Hard to get that natural rebound off the ride cymbal. But the new ones, no. The stick comes right back. It's really they're really nice. They're really well thought out. And if you catch the shaft of the stick on the ride, like I would playing jazz, quite it opens up another layer of sample where you get a bit of wash.
So right. So they have like several zones, right? So you have the bell, you have the mid part of the ride, you have the crash.
Yep.
And you're right. If I remember right, even how you would stick it, if you hit it off the side or if it was straight, I mean, it reacted like a real cymbal would.
Yeah.
And they are rubber or some kind of rubber. I mean, I know they're not rubber. There's some kind of combination of stuff, but really amazing. Gandhi says that his sounded great. But his is an older set and he had to tweak it. But yeah, I think the Roland stuff, man, for drums, again, if you don't have the ability to have a loud drum set in your house or in your studio, Man, those are convincing. I mean, they are. Well, they are. I mean, how the hell could you tell the difference if a real person sat behind it and played it? I think the sounds are good enough, and the fact that you can use SSD4 or any of the other, software VSTs or whatever, you could get a hell of a sound. I mean, really. It's amazing. We live in a fantastic time for this kind of stuff, man. We really do.
Yeah, totally. A friend of mine for his studio, because he's like everyone else, has a home studio, and practice is an issue for him because his neighbors that are elderly. So he got a set of Roland triggers.
Oh yeah.
And he put the triggers on his drums. And he took his original heads off, and he put those mesh heads on, so they're absolutely silent to play. But he's got the triggers, and he's basically got an acoustic electric drum set.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's brilliant. It's a great kit to play because it really does. Because it's all built into the original shells of his drum set, so it's just fantastic. Great fun to play.
Yeah. Those are awesome. Well, that's good, Andy, man. I'm glad you got that. And yeah, you can go see Johnny Geib. He'll tell you how to get SSD4 running. Excuse me. It definitely works. So that's really, really cool. The other thing I've been doing a lot of, which is not recording related, but music related, is I've really been getting heavy into this whole vinyl thing. I can see this going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem.
What, for your overdraft?
Yeah, right. But I will say, like I told my wife, it's not as expensive as buying guitars and guitar pedals.
That's true. You have a point there.
Did
you win that discussion?
I don't know. Win is a subjective word. I don't know if I used the word win, but I wouldn't say I lost. But yeah, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, man. I'll tell you, if you're someone who, you work in a home studio and you most of your recording, mixing work, whatever you do, is for clients or whatever, and you find yourself you find yourself listening to music from a very technical level, and not from an enjoyment level. And you don't listen to music the same way. And when you do that for a lot of time, you forget kind of, how to listen to music for pleasure. And I also think that you could get stale and get very, repetitive in the things that you do because it becomes a technical workflow thing, Yeah. And so I've tried to, over the last 6 months, I decided I wanted to get back into listening to music for pleasure, and I wanted to get back into listening to vinyl, which is just, pushed me right off the edge of the cliff into this big hole of, because I had no equipment. I didn't really have any vinyl to speak of. I sold it all in the 80s like everybody else did, And so now I was on a quest for a turntable and a receiver and speakers, and they're all sitting behind me, and it's all in the back there, and I got it all set up, and now I've been buying, looking for, because and what's funny is, as I'm learning about this stuff, is vinyl's having a resurgence now. So it's like coming back. And if you go to Amazon, .com or, all the records from the 70s and 80s are all being reissued on vinyl. Right. And so they're easy to buy, but see, I can't take the easy route. I have to go back, and now part of the fun for me is trying to find the original pressings in good condition or not all beat to hell, that sound good. And so it's this whole thing. So every few days now, I got a new record showing up at my house,
I still have my original turntable from 1981. And it still works. I've changed the belt maybe twice. And it still works beautifully. And I still have my first edition Steely Dan vinyls.
Oh, those are nice. Yeah, I bought a Steely Dan original pressing from their greatest hits, their double LP greatest hits from the mid 70s, I think it was. They have two of them, a greatest hits 1 and a greatest hits 2. I have the first one. What a fantastic record that is.
Oh, doesn't it just sound absolutely beautiful?
It does. And so now you start looking at, because my turntable that I bought was a refurbished unit from 1976, a Pioneer. And I bought an old vintage receiver from 1971. And and some speakers, you know, and now you start listening to this stuff, and now you start going, wow, if I just bought an external phono preamp, that would sound a little bit better, you know?
Yes.
And then if you bought this, and if you did this, and then you get a, you know, then you get one of those record cleaning machines, and you're cleaning the records, and you're doing, you know, it's a whole thing. But I'll tell you what, it is, I think it's helped me in a way, become a better mixer in a way, because I'm hearing things, I'm listening to music in a new way, and I'm getting ideas, which I'm trying to bring to the console, which is great. And it's, you know, it's fun, and it's music related.
Especially with your you know, your passion for, you know, analog in the digital domain.
Right.
You know, your approach to mixing with analog style plugins, analog summing, which, you know, is something you have done in the past.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be doing again.
Yep.
I'm sure.
Certainly.
So, you know, kind of like going back to that kind of those vinyl sounds, and, you know, I'm sure that it'll be giving you some ideas about, you know, your own mixes and your own masters going forward that way.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely been a nice refresher, and it's a nice hobby. So I don't know.
The thing I like about that greatest hits record is that you get nice, pleasant dirt and grittiness in the music, and you get nice distortions, like on the vocal. There's a little bit of nice distortion, and on the snare drum.
That's right. And you know, we talk about that. We say, you know, the sound of analog. If you want to know what the sound of analog is, go, if you don't have one, go get a turntable, go buy one of your favorite records from either the 60s, the 70s, or the 80s. Not a reissue. Go back, try to find one from the original period where it wasn't remastered, and listen to it. And then listen to that same thing on a new CD. And if you compare the two, and I've done this, I did this with, what record was it? Eric Clapton's. As a matter of fact, I got some new vinyl sitting right here next to me. I was going to show you later, Johnny. But I got vinyl. I got Eric Clapton's Unplugged. So I had that on CD. I love that that performance, and I just got it on vinyl. It was only made. This one's from Germany. And I've compared the two. I put the album on, listened to the first two songs, and then put the CD on, because I have my CD player patching through my receiver. So I'm listening back on the same speakers. Everything else is the same. And I will tell you that it is different. Now, you can debate whether it's better or not. It's all in the ear of the beholder, but it is clearly different. Clearly different. The CD has a lot more... high fidelity is not really the word, but it's a lot cleaner sounding. It's a little bit more crisp. Certain areas you can almost say it may be a little harsh on the ear, just a little bit. Depends on your speakers and such, but it's got a lot more top-end information. It doesn't have that warmth.
That's very, very true. I'm glad you said it, because
it doesn't have it. It doesn't.
Yeah, there's a definite difference in the EQ curve of, you know, a vinyl record with CD, like you say, because they had no way back then to translate a lot of the high end information the mics were capturing.
Right.
I think Rick Marotti, the drummer that was on Steely Dan's Peg, and you know, he talked in an interview about when he cut that track, he had been playing a hi-hat pattern where he just opened the hi-hat just a hair every on the after eighth note of the backbeat, like like that, just a tiny hair. But you know, when they made the master discs and it went out to production, it went out to mass production, he never heard that until they did the digital remaster for the CD. And for the first time, he heard his little hi-hat pattern.
Wow.
And when you compare the difference between the two, the drums just seem to come alive quite a bit more on the CD than they do on the album, because how important that you know, that little hi-hat thing was, which just never got captured.
Right.
Until they remastered it and they could open up the top end digitally.
Right. Yeah, so it's definitely different. So, yeah, if you want to know what that analog sound is, that's what it is. and
Yeah.
you can and you can hear it. And some people like it, some people don't, but that's what it is. Jazz says, "Merry Christmas, David. Merry Christmas, Johnny." Jazz, Merry Christmas to you as well, my friend.
Yes, most definitely.
Let's see. Arkham says he came a little late. Did you guys see the PreSonus DAW teaser video? Oh yes, we saw that video.
We did.
Who didn't see the video?
No.
Yeah, Rick did a nice little video, little demo. It looks really good. It looks like what I would have expected it to do. I mean, there was nothing there that was overly surprising, but everything I thought should be there is there. It looks great. I mean, I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah.
I tried to press the DAW button for Christmas. Nothing happened.
No.
It's okay.
No. There's a firmware to come.
But yeah, that's really cool. And there's already a Facebook group for the Johnny Geib created a Facebook group for PreSonus Studio Series 3 mixer DAW control.
Yes.
So we already have a PreSonus Studio Live Series 3 mixer group, and Johnny created another group just for DAW stuff, so for the control stuff. So when we all get up and running and don't know what to do, we can all head on over there and try to help each other.
Yes. There's going to be when it does come, there's going to be a lot for us to teach and a lot for us to learn about how it all works, and ways in which it will work really well, and ways in which it may not necessarily be the best option for you. So,
yeah, exactly. Andy says, I do that also, David. I've got my grandma's old country albums from the 60s and the 70s, and I also got several older LPs of several old rock. Picked up Tupelo Honey in Kansas 2 for the show live. Oh, in Kansas 2 for the show live. Yeah, that's great, man. I love it. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm collecting mostly 70s rock because that's my favorite stuff. And in my studio tour video, part 3 is all about that. I kind of show people my equipment and show them some of the records that I have and stuff. And yeah, I really like it, man. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's a rabbit hole. You could jump down this. It's like going into the plug-in rabbit hole. That's for sure.
Yes.
but it's fun. And what else I like about it too is, and you kind of forgot about this over the years. Is when you're listening, you have you have the thing in your hand. You have the record in your hand. You can look at it. You got the beautiful, like this one I just got today, Eric Clapton's Slow Hand at 70, which is what over here. It's a 3 LP set with a DVD from the Royal Albert Hall.
Live at the Albert Hall.
Yeah, this I haven't listened to it yet, but I heard it's great.
I've been to see Eric at several Albert Hall shows that he's done. Yeah,
he's fantastic. I love him. I mean, I got a lot of his. I bought a lot of his. I got the Unplugged when I bought this. I bought some old Cream stuff too that I really like. But you can sit there. You can read the liner notes. You can check it out. It's a very tactile thing. It's just like having this console in front of us that we all got now that we're all waiting to be able to use with Studio One, right? It's all. Why did we get this? I got it for the tactile. I want to be able to put my hands on the little fader, and I want to move a physical fader. I don't want to do it with a tracker ball anymore. You can do it with a tracker ball. I've been doing it for years. It works just fine. I've done very well with it. But it's not the same. It's not the same. And that's the same way, like with music, you could sit down and listen to a CD or an MP3, in your car or whatever. But it's not the same as taking, and what I love about it, the side of an album's about 20 minutes or so. It's not the same as sitting down for 20 minutes, putting the thing on, dropping the needle, and sitting down and listening to the music and not being distracted by 1,000 things that's going on.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
It's a different experience. I recommend it to anyone who might be of the younger generation that's watching this that doesn't even know what we're talking about. Record, it's like a black thing with a hole in the middle. If you never did it, but if you've never done it, I recommend it. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Yeah,
you listen to music in a different way.
You've got to get yourself some John Coltrane.
Yeah, you were telling me that. Yeah. And this is the other thing I noticed too. I know we're on now. Well, we're talking about music, so who cares? 30 people are still here, so I guess you guys care. The other thing I was telling you, Johnny, is almost 90% of the vinyl that I bought so far is stuff I did not own on CD. or things that I wouldn't have that I knew about in the past. Not that I didn't like, but I didn't. But at the time, I didn't like it enough, I guess, to go out and buy the CD. So it's also turning me on to music that I either forgotten about or things that I would give a chance to because the artwork's really cool or whatever it is. And you just say something draws you to that piece of art, you know, and you're giving yourself a chance. And I've had a newfound appreciation for some records that I wasn't really fond of. Now I hear them on vinyl, 25 years later, and I love. Like the Allman Brothers Live at the Fillmore, I got.
Yeah, it's a good record.
I'm not a big Allman Brothers fan, but I listened to that and went, wow, this is great. And it was just so much fun to sit down and listen to it. So I don't know. Like I said, it's just, what are you going to do?
Well, yeah, it's true. It's true. Another record I could recommend to you would be Miles Davis' Sketches of Spain.
Okay.
With the arrangements and orchestrations done by Gil Evans, the arranger. It's essentially it's not a classic big band like you'd expect. 5 saxes, 4 trombones, and
right.
6 trumpets. There's French horns in there. There's tuba. There's other instruments that you don't really associate with jazz that are in that sound because they tried to capture. It's called Sketches of Spain. They tried to capture kind of the essence of Spanish music and bring it into jazz, and it's a beautiful record, and it was all recorded at Rudy Van Gelder's studio.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check that out too. I love discovering music now again. It's so much fun. Let's see.